put what I call a stabiliser in somewhere near the waist. So I've gone down 2, 4, 6, so I'll make sure that I do it the same on this side. So it doesn't really matter if it's 5, 6, 7th loop down, as long as it's somewhere near the waist. And just tie that. So a shoe, string, ribbon, anything that you've got floating around, it just holds it all in place, especially if you've got a modesty piece that's in 2 pieces, and then you can just tuck them into each other and that will hold it there. Okay, so we're starting off on the left side. We've just popped it into this one, and we're going from what's the underneath part, the inside of the dress, not the outside, that we take that end and pop it the same way from the inside outwards, not this way. Okay, otherwise you have to cut a hole in her back and try and tighten up from inside her. Okay, so once you've done both of those, just get your ends together and run your hand up to get the middle of the tie. Now we're starting from the right hand side, so just get your end, pop it from inside outwards or underneath outwards so that your road map is ready to go. We've got both of these on the same side, so we drop the bottom one and take the top one, go to the right from underneath out and back to the left. If there's any twisting, just tighten it up. If you've got the wider ties, it's easier to see twists than it is on this one. So we're both back on the same side on the left, drop the bottom one, take the top one, go to the right, back to the left. There's a bit of twisting just there, so I'm going to turn it to flatten it out. It just makes it easier for later. Okay, drop the bottom one, take the top one, go to the next loop down, make sure you don't miss any. Now, once we get to the stabiliser, which we're about to do, so it's in the way, so we just undo it and keep going. Nice and simple. So that's made it easier by keeping it all tight. Go to the right, untwist, back to the left. It's very repetitive, but it's nice and simple. And we tighten up afterwards. Otherwise you'll be there forever. This is usually a 20-minute process for a first timer. You can get it down to 10 if you practice a long time before the wedding on a mannequin or something, because I think the bride will get sick of putting her dress on. Maybe not. Okay, so we've got both of them on the one side. We're dropping the bottom one, taking the top one, going from underneath outwards, back to the right, drop that one and keep going right to the end. The end one gets a bit tricky because it's a different system. Go to the bottom, so drop your bottom one and just go into the one. Okay, now we're going to tighten it up. So if this has fallen down into the waist a little bit, just pull it up. Get your bra, if you've got a strapless bra, you put it down below, put it down a good couple of centimetres below, it will stay there. It's straps that stops these things from happening. Now, if we pull it from there, we're going to get nowhere fast. So go to the second one down. Always pull parallel to the floor, not off on angles like this, because you can break your loops. So parallel to the floor, outwards first, as much as you can go, and then inwards, like that. This thing here, just let it go across wherever it wants to go. We don't worry about the press stud on it. Now, we want this to be about a handspan, about 15 centimetres back, because if you're in here, you can't see what you're doing. If you're way back here somewhere, you can't have control, because we've got to keep this tight at all times so that we control the dress, not the dress control you. So your tie has to be vertical, index finger on the left, thumb on the right, palm facing down. Don't worry if it feels cack-handed to you. There is a reason for it. It's so that everything slides between your fingers easily. So you can't use your knuckle because it won't work. So fingertips only. This time we're going to work from the outside of the loop. So we're going to keep tension at all times. So we're going to pull this one, which is here. So I can feel it pulling on my finger. So I'm just going to let my finger go and hang on to both of those. This is going to slip through my thumb. That's why we're using fingertips. So pull outwards and then inwards, and come back to your triangle with it vertical with your fingers, index on the left, thumb on the right. Go from the outside of the loop, keeping tension, let the finger go, but hang on to this one. Untwist as you go, hang on to both of those to pull that one. Now see how that's crinkling in under there? Just get another bridesmaid to come through and push that across like so. Now we pull out and in. So she would do that. It's a bit easier for her to do it before you do the pulling in and out. Otherwise it gets a bit tight in there. Okay, so we come back 15 centimetres, make sure these are vertical. Finger on the left, thumb on the right. Keep tension, pull the next one. So that's pulling through there. So we're just going to let that slide through the fingertip. Make sure that that's not twisting. Hang on to both of those. And this one's sliding through my thumb, just like that. Pull outwards and inwards. Now, for the first 3 or 4 to the waist, we want to make sure that they're nice and firm so that the bride is not having to hitch her dress up all night. That makes her feel self-conscious all night, and we don't want that. So we just do it like that. So we bring it back to the 15 centimetres, pull that through, let that finger go, but hang on to this one. Hold on to both of those as you pull the other side. Pull outwards and inwards. Another thing we have to keep an eye on is that this stays into a nice triangle as we're going through. So hang on to both of those. See that? So if you're not pulling it enough, it goes into like this torpedo look, which we don't want. So you want to have a nice gradual angle, I guess. So don't get too close like I just did. That's only for experienced people. Okay, pull outwards and inwards, keeping that shape. The shape will dictate it. Like if this is a princess dress, you don't have to pull anywhere near as hard because there's a lot more fullness in the skirt. So it's the shape that you're following with those big full skirts, where the mermaid dress like this one is just easier, really, because you can just pull it tight. Good shape there. Then once we get to the bottom, just make sure you do bring that to a point. We're doing a little half knot because we're doing a bow. If it's a really wide tape, which most dresses are, this width here, this is very thick and chunky when you do the knot there. So what I do is I bring my tail up and down like this and give it a pull, and that brings it in tighter. So you don't have to do it with these thinner ones. Then we do a bow. Now make sure that your bunny ears are as long as your tails, like that. Grab 1/2, stick your finger in the hole so that you've got a bit of room to push all this in. Be patient with this because the first time you do it, it feels like you never get there. That's where a few drinks come in handy. And then grab the other half and shove them in. Keep going, keep going. It's very important to get that right down in there because this next stage on the mermaid dresses is difficult. Then we go underneath all the petticoats to the innermost one, like that, okay? And just try and keep away from the body, just keep it near the dress and grab the whole lot. See how that's moving there? I'm grabbing everything. If you don't grab every strand, the bow will come undone. You'll have to pull it out and do another one and keep going. So give that a hard pull. So that's all of it there. Just keep it away from the legs as you're coming out of the dress. Okay, then may as well put this part in here too. With these dresses, because this is an asymmetrical skirt, we've got to look for the hanger of the train to show you where the centre back is. So once you get that centre back, just go an arm's length on either side, get some air under your dress and drop your train down. And that's it.